Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to apply this authentication app to this photo sharing app that I've created, and this one is about memories that I would like to create or have created, or it's basically aspirational, but you know, some of these things I have done or my friends have done. But yeah, I'm just gonna add a few more maybe to this. And the original app was this one by um, JavaScript Mastery, Adrian, his name is. And I've rebuilt this several times in slightly different ways. And it's basically at the essence is it's a to-do app, but it's got more features like you know it's the picture, the like, things like that. And you know it's a lot like Facebook or whatever, where you're adding posts, and you can use this for like creating job adverts or similar things like that. So it's really useful. And when I made this app, I was thinking to myself, oh, actually, I've created something that's quite useful that I can use to create other projects and enhance and change, you know, and hopefully that you'll get that from this as well. So this is why I'm doing it. We're going to create other more sophisticated apps than this, but I think this one was the most sophisticated app that I created where I thought is very useful actually. What you need to do is come here, download this zip file, and then show in the folder. You can go and get this, and then we can put it in our projects folder. You can put it where you want. I'm going to put it in my one. And then I'm going to, you can do it with your terminal as well. I just prefer to do it like this. I think it makes a bit more sense to me. But anyway, I think most people prefer their terminals though. But anyway, so let's now delete this. And we want to go in here. Let's Control X, paste that file. Okay, we'll just rename this project. And rename it to my pick or pick me. Let's where's the rename? Show more options. This new Windows 11. Okay, me picks. Let's call it me picks. So we're going to set up this me picks project using this boilerplate. Carrying on with this Auth Mongo project, and we're going to expand on that boilerplate. We need to get this env local folder as well, file as well. Paste it in here. Initialize this as a Git project now. And then let's create a project on GitHub. Me picks. No, we could live without that. Me picks. Okay, so we need to do this. Git add. And then we want to just do all of it. Push you to me. Okay, right, now let's refresh this page. Okay, so we've got this new project, and then what we need to do Okay, so what we need to do now is open this up in VS Code. Then we're going to start creating the model for our posts. So let's call this post model. I can spell post model. Oh, I've created a folder, not a... Let's just delete that. And then in here, if we type a new model, we get the user model anyway, I think. Do we? No. Ooh, why didn't that work? Is it Mongoose model? Sorry. Yeah, so Mongoose model, this is our user model. So we can change this to just say post model, post schema. And then in the post schema, what we want is a title which is of type string, if I can spell title, a message which is of type string, get rid of these, a creator which is also of type string, tags which is of type string, an array of strings, selected file, we can call this image as well, let's just call it a selected file, well, let's call it image, which is of type string. Don't know why I've done it like that, but oh right, yeah, let's do it like this, of type string, and then like count, or likes, yeah, let's do like count, which is of type number, have a default of 0, don't know why it came up with that required, but default type 0, and a created at, and that's going to be of type date, oops, and the default is going to be new date. Okay, that's it. And oh, we need to change this to say post, because it's a post model, and we need to change this to post. We should have really done anyway a control H, which will find and replace, but anyway, we've done it now. Okay, so next what we can do is use this model. What we do now is set up a posts route, posts, and inside that posts route I'm going to create another file called posts. Most people will use index. I don't really like that because then you just get loads of folders called index, loads of files, sorry, called index, and it just makes it a little bit confusing for me. So I prefer not to do that. I mean, you can still go up here and have a look at the toolbar and find out where you are, but it's just confusing for me. I don't really like that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go and we're going to create a server function like these. I don't think I've used one of these in my boilerplate. Let me just check. Export default. I think it's this exports. Yeah, I don't think I have. Let me just check these. No. Right, I might create one of these in my boilerplate online. So let's go. What is it called again? Snippet generator. Create a snippet generator. I think I've got one of these. Let me just check. Let's get rid of this bit here. then right, hopefully that should work. I quite like checking whether I'm hitting the right server, so the right server component. Server function. So let's do that. I do that quite a lot. And then let's call this a export server function. Let's call this a server function. Server function. It's not really a server, but anyway, what's it called? Serverless function. Sorry, it should be serverless function. Let's call it. Should we just call it serverless for the trigger? Serverless, right? Let's put the E there because normally I start by using E because of the export bit. So let's use that. And then go into the JavaScript bit, and then put it down here, and then right. So now we've got this serverless function. Right, let's use it. So ES, so it's come up, perfect. Don't need that bit in there. Let's go back in the JavaScript and get rid of that. It's unnecessary. Right, so what are we doing for this one? Okay, so we need to import our model that we just made. Import post from dot posts. Is it? No, dot models I need. Model slash post model. I think the folder should be called models, but anyway, it's fine. So const post should be a capital post, is it? No, post, sorry, is equal to await post.find, and then res.status 200. I'll put a link to status codes on maybe in the bottom, and then the JSON is just going to be the post, and then if we don't get that, get an error message. So let's go in here, res.status 404. Then the JSON is going to be message. Oh, I've already got the message, and then it's just err.message. Okay, and then let's put return here. I like putting return so it doesn't keep on executing the code. Okay, it just stops us getting errors and stuff. Okay, so now we're going to test this route. We didn't do npm install, so we need to do that to install the dependencies that we already used for our what's the word called, our boilerplate. Okay, so and then once we've done that, we can do npm run dev and up the create post function as well in a similar way. Serverless, right? So that's working. And then, what's happened here? Why is it not? Oh, we shouldn't have two of these in the same block. So, hold on. this is a get function. Okay, I know. Right, so what we want to do now is we want to check if there's a rec.body, if the rec.method, hold on, Control Z, we need this. So what we need to do is we need to say if rec.method equals get. Then we want to do, sorry, that should be inside here. I don't know why I was thinking was that doing it. Okay, if it's that, then we want to do this, and if it's not, we want to do something else. Let's go in here. If it's equal to post, we want to do this bit. And then instead of, so here we want to say const post is equal to rec.body, and then const new post is equal to await.post, and then post await new post, sorry, await new post, and then in here we want to pass in the post, and then we want to do post.save, so await new post.save, and then we want to say res.status 200, and we want to pass in the new post, and then here we want to do the same thing. Okay, right, so the status codes are here. I'll post a link of this in the description. You don't really need to know them. The stars that will signify the main ones, but so this created one is the one that we just used. Most people just use like 200 and things like that, so yeah, it just gives you in the front end when you check a bit more information when you get an error or when you get something successful. It just gives you a bit more information, which is good. Now what we're going to do is create a form component, so we can create this picture memory object and send it to the backend. So it's create a folder called form, and then we create a component called forms. And if we go to the register component, we can copy this as like boilerplate, because we're going to do a lot of the same stuff. This theme provider we don't actually need, so we can get rid of that. We can get rid of it from here as well, actually. And then we need to come in here, and then we need to change some of these things. So it's going to be creator. The name is going to be creator. And on this, if you do Control H, you can replace first name with creator. Right. So let's replace that. Those few. The label is going to be creator. So we can do the same thing for the last name. So instead of last name, we're going to call it title. So that should replace that. And change this to title. Change this to title. It's actually changed our these as well. It's used as states. Didn't expect it to do that, but that's a good addition. And then text field. Next, we need message. So, just want to check one thing. Okay, text field, right. Control H again. So what have we got? We've got email, and we need to replace that with the thing we want to replace it with is message. So that should work. And then should have a lowercase. That should have a lowercase. That should have a lowercase. That has a lowercase, so that should be uppercase. Yeah, it looks fine. And then after that, then you should have tags. So the password should be tags. Password should be tags. Okay, replace that. I've got some confirm password fields down there, but that's fine. Just get rid of that. Okay. And then after that, what we want is for the, we're going to have to install something called React Base 64. So npm install React Base 64, and from that we want a file base object. So let's do that. Oh, what's happened to npm? Oh, I think I've spelled it wrong. It should be, done it again. Sorry about that. Should be React file base 64. Base 64. So whilst that's installing, let's import file base from React file base 64. And then we want to, here where we've got this object here, we want to create file base object. So it's going to say file base. Yep, and then type is going to be file. Yep, and then multiple is going to be false. Oops, that's tuple is going to be false, and then on done it's going to be base 64, then going to have sorry, that should be like that. This should be in a wider object. Then we want selected file equals base64. Okay. So up here we want a selected file. So use state, that should be selected file, set selected file, change that to an S, capital S, and then we can use this here like this. Right, hopefully that should work. And then this just needs to be closed. Right, hopefully this should work now. And then, don't actually need any of this. Let's get rid of all of this stuff as much as possible. Get rid of all of this that we don't need. Anything that's not showing we can get rid of. We might need that later. Let's get rid of that. Google login button, and I'm not sure what that's for. Right, selected file. Okay, we need to make that a capital T. Set, that should be C, creator, that should be a capital C, sorry. Set creator, let's make sure that these have the right, that should be a capital T. There should be tags, should be capital tag T. Oh, I've got two set tags, so let's get rid of that one. Okay, then the rest of them, that should be a lowercase. Okay, selected file, right, okay. Right, now, these buttons, let's get rid of this Google button, don't need that anymore. Then on submit we want to get an on submit handler, so let's see what happens at the moment. I think there's a on submit, yeah, there's a submit handler here, so we want to retrieve that submit handler. So CF try, and then we want to paste that in there. Then we're going to have an event, and then it's .e.prevent default. So on this basically prevents a refresh, because when you submit, it normally gives a refresh. So here we want to print. This should be a lowercase m. Okay, that should be that. And this console log as much of this stuff as possible. Okay, right, let's now try this. npm run dev. Okay, let's go to, have I brought it in anywhere? I don't think I have. So we need to bring this form in somewhere. Let's go to this dashboard component because we haven't done anything here. Let's bring that form in. Import form from dash form. Components form. And then yes, there's a form, and then let's put that form here. Right, hopefully that should be okay. Right, let's have a look at this. Slash dashboard. Don't think I'm logged in. I might need to log in. Yes. Otherwise it's gonna. Let's log in, I think. And go to src/user/dashboard. Okay, something's wrong. I don't think this has been exported, that's why. Right, so let's first of all change it to the name of form. Because when we copied it, we didn't change. We didn't copy everything, so I think it didn't. So export default form. Right, that should now work. Right, that's fine. Right, now if we refresh it, perfect. Right. Let's change that from address. You shouldn't say that. Just choose this. Right, let's see, sign up, selected file. So we have a base 64 thing. We have these. So now we can send this to the backend. So we see we're getting a base 64 object. That's brilliant. Right, we need to change some of these things first. That, and a few other things. Right. So what can we change in here? Right, first of all we need to change that so it says submit memory or picture. Let's go with picture. Let's just do submit, that's fine. And then what else are we going to do? So sign up. Remember memory capture form. Memory capture. Let's just do memory capture because we know it's a form. And then let's see what else we need to do. This secret page, let's get rid of that quickly. Where is that? That's in the dashboard. Right. Memory cache. Do we need this dashboard thing? Let's get rid of that for now. Don't think we need it. Memory capture. Okay, submit. Already have account signed in, we don't need that bit. I think we need that either. Let's have a look. Right, it looks perfect, I think. Right, let's close this. Right, now what we can do, we can move this along, we can put our memories here, and we can change the size of this. Actually, it is extra small, but in the dashboard, let's change a few things. Grid, container, and then we'll put this as grid item. Put the form in here. And then we'll have another grid item. And then in that one we can put something else. Let's first of all make this, I think it's SX, is it SX? XS, sorry, not X. XS. So we're going to use this to take up 8, and then this one should take up 4, so XS equals 4. So the page is made up of 12 parts, and we want 8 of the memories or the pictures, and 4 for the other bit. So yeah, it's here, so we can put in all our information here, and then it should appear on this side. Okay, let's put this in a bit of a different fashion. Let's put this as 12 all the way, SM6, so we can just get rid of this, I think, and this, and then that should fix that. Yep, perfect. Okay, and then on this side we're going to have our pictures with our memory captures. And let's change this to a photo. Let's go icons, MUI, which are icons. Let's see if there's any photo or image. Is there any photo? Yeah, I like this one. Hold on, it's gone. Which one is the best? Probably this one, I think. And then let's go into the header and change that. Right, let's have a look. Perfect. So what we want to do now is create a single object to put this in, because there's quite a lot of stuff here. So let's do memory data, and then it's going to be tags, and then it's going to be selected file, and then it's going to be message, then it's going to be as the name of the key, and the value is going to be the same. I've just used the set one, but we could do this, for example, as well. But yeah, there's no point of doing that, because yeah, they're the same basically. So now you're allowed to do that. Title, I think this should be title, not message. I think we've done message twice. So let's do that, and then we can console log this just to make sure we've got all the same stuff. Okay, let's go in here. Let's go and check this out. Console. Okay, so we've got all. I've just put blurb in here, and we've got that. So, what can we do now? Let's now target the API route. So let's change this. If you type in C data, you should get some boilerplate. It's going to be a post request. It's going to go to API. Then it's going to go to API. API posts, I think. No, API. I think, yeah, posts, and then posts. Then we want to send the memory data. Don't need to send that twice. And then here we can put a config. So if you type in cc, you should get some config information. Don't need that. So let's put that as a config. Right, and then let's console log any kind of response we get. I don't know if we're going to get a response, but let's go in here, and then what we can do, if we type in reqm, then we should get that. And let's just return for now. We don't need to do anything else. For now, we just need to make sure we're hitting it. Let's have a look. Okay, post. So we are hitting this. So now this should actually save it if we wanted to save this in the in our MongoDB database. So we need to copy this connectDB across to here. And then one other thing I've changed. Let's get rid of that in the form. I've changed this to just say base64. It used to say selected. To make a few changes. Just realised a few things that are causing errors. So this should be, first of all, this is not an error, but we should put that same message so that on the form it says message rather than this message address thing. Oh, I think it's not. We haven't restarted the server, so it won't show yet. But we need to come in here and then change this to say image, because that's what it says in the model. And then, this should say dot memory data. Because that's the object that we're bringing in from the front. And then in here we've got a few typos. That should be creator, that should be title, and then this should be it's not required all the time. So now this should, we need to restart the server. So if you've got your server running, make sure you restart it when you change this model, otherwise they're not going to take effect basically. So hopefully now we should be able to create a memory. So the creator is me, the title is the best memory, and then let's say hello world is a message, and tag, let's say best let's say memory maybe, or pick. Let's just do pick as a tick. Title, and then we can have any tag really. Maybe Autumn Towers if we're going to Autumn Towers, whatever. Right. So let's see that's come through there. Let's make sure that it's come through here. So here, yeah. So we've got the best memory. So this is now working perfectly. Those few errors just we need to sort out. But I'm going to make a call to the backend to get the posts, and we can do this by, we can't actually do async or awaiting the user fix, so we have to set up a separate function. So if you just type in cf, then you should get this, and then just type this as get posts, and then we want to get rid of that, get rid of that, and if you type in c data here, then you should get a little snippet, and then it's going to be a GET request, and what we're getting from API, and then it's posts, then posts. And then if you press Control S, and then we can console log the data. Okay, right, let's now, oh, we need to get this, we need to make a call to this. We can call it in here. So when the page loads, that will call. Right, hopefully that should now work. Let's have a look. We're getting anything back? Yes, we're getting the object back that we had there. So that's perfect. Now what we can do, we can display it here. What we're going to do now we've got this data, we should, we're going to try and put it into a card component. So there's lots of examples here of React card components. So we've got these various examples. Let's use this one actually. And then, as well as these, there's lots of other card examples as well. So you can find some on the web, but there's like, here we've got a few here as well. They're really like, there's like loads and loads of different ones that you can kind of find. They all look really good. But anyway, the one that we chose, which one did we choose? It's gone. Right, it's here. So let's just copy and paste this. Where's it gone? Okay. Right, let's paste this into our dashboard. What we can do is set up a separate component, but for now, let's put it here. It's probably going to give it error, but that's fine. We can fix that. Let's put that up here, and we'll move this into a separate component. But for now, if we can, for now, let's just put that single thing that we got into this component, and let's put it in here. Right, and in here, duplicate binding, so we've already got that somewhere. Let's get rid of that. Button as well is being declared. React has been declared. Right, that should be fine. And then let's see what that looks like for now. So we've got that, okay. What we want to do, we're going to put SX MT1 rem. Oops. So that means margin top. I think it's got to have 2 like that. Yeah, that should be fine. Right, let's have a look at that. Yeah, so I'm putting a little border here because it's, yeah, it was all there at the top of the page. Okay, right, let's get rid of these, and then let's type in use state. Let's use state. Then, oops, state. Then it's going to be post data. Then set post data. And then we're going to take this set post data and set this post data with this data here. And then what we can do is, we need to spread over this data. And then, because there could be more than one object in there, and then in here we need to return that post data. Do a question mark and then image we want. Right, let's have a look at what that looks like. Okay, that's looking good. Let's make this a bit bigger. Yeah, perfect. Lizard's looking good. Right, what's next? Let's do this as postdata.title. Then postdata dot creator, and then postdata dot message. Let's do the tags that we have. Then, okay, that looks okay. It's not the best thing that we got, but best looking thing, but at least it's working. And then, if you make it a little bit smaller, it looks quite big. Let's try and make this, let's make it 150 and make this 140 again. Let's see what happens with that. It's a bit too narrow now, I think. Change that to 250. Change that to maybe 250. Change this height a bit more. Let's change it to not 240. Let's change it to 200. Yeah, looking good. Right. And then change this to say like. We'll change this later. And then what else can we have on here? Delete. Let's change this to say delete. Okay, good. Right, we'll leave it like this for now. It's not looking the best because I think this should be a bit more. I think these buttons don't look very nice compared to this, but we'll fix that up later. For now, that's looking okay. Okay, so one thing we're going to do is make this writing a bit smaller. This is a bit bunched up to this, so we're going to change that a little bit. And there's a big space here, so we need to get rid of that space as well. So in order to add inline styling, what you need to do is go into the line that you want to change, and then just go type in SX. That gives you some inline styling. And then it used to be called styles or something, which was a lot more descriptive than SX, but anyway, so we want margin top, and then we want margin top of 0.5 rem, 0.5 rem. So let's see how that looks. So yeah, you can see now there's a little bit of space between these two, and then we want to get rid of that larger space. So what we can do, we can take this, and then we can do minus. So we can say minus 1 rem, I think. Should fix that. Right, let's have a look. So yeah, you can see that the space has gone a little bit. And then we want to make this a bit smaller because this is the title and then this is the name. So let's change this to H7. See how that looks. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Right, so I'm just going to leave it there for now. So that's just fixing the styles. So I've just changed the cards so that they reflect memories that I might want to make or have made, or it's not accurate, but it's just something really that's easier for me to think about, really, because I might want to do something. But what I've noticed is that the cards have now become a bit disorientated, and we want to make them the same size. And then if you click into them, then maybe we can do a full page of them rather than it showing everything on here. So we can do that. But in the meantime, what we want to do is have this card move up here and then have these cards all the same length. So what we can do to do that is we can change this to 230, and then hopefully that should, so now we just need to make this the right size. So what we can do for that is we can say, if the length is greater than 60, then we want to do, is greater than 60 characters, then what we want to do is we want to return that with substring, and then in the substring you can put 2 bits of data. That's how long you want it to be and where you want it to start. And then we want to add to that substring, we want to add ... Or else, if it's less than that, then we can just return post message as normal if it's shorter than that length. Oops. Okay. So now that's got rid of a bit of this. Now we want to do the same thing here. So, if the tag tag.length is greater than 22. I mean, I've just tested these numbers, that's how I know, but how long I want them to be, but yeah, you just need to do the same thing. So if it's greater than 22, then we just want to return the same thing, substring 22 and then plus ... else we want to just do what we was doing before, which is this. Oops, Control Z, which is, oops, just disappeared. We want to just do what we was doing here. And then get rid of this. That's it. So now these cards, we can probably make them clickable, then open up into the big card where we can show more about this subject. We might, have a whole kind of page about it and stuff like that. But I don't know if we're going to do that, but this is just an idea. But at the moment, they just look nicer than they was. So that's it. What to do now is actually change this auth app as well, because it still says auth app, but obviously it's not an auth app anymore. It's a photo app, really, a memories app. So where is the header? So sorry, in the header we need to change this to say, I've called it MEPix with a K. Don't know why, I just want it to be different, really. So this is it, MEPix. We've changed a few things around. It looks nice now. It's in here. This should just be a slash. So just change that in the header. What I'm going to do now is move everything inside this Redux state. So in order to do that, we're going to move this get post in there. So let's create something called action, post actions, actions.js, and then post reducers.js, post reducers.js, and then another one called post types.js. And then let's go in here and create, if you type in action creator, you should get, and you're using my boilerplate, you should get an action creator object, and let's name this the same as what it is in the dashboard, so get posts. And then we need to then create a some types, and let's see what the types are that we should call it. So let's do get posts request, and then let's copy this and paste it here, and then we want success. And then this one should be fail. Fail. Okay, right, and then in here, let's paste what we got, success. So success should be in this one. And then here, let's type this into request. And then here we should copy this, paste it here, change this to fail, and then let's just copy this whole stuff. That should be fine, and then we're going to need Axios in here. Where's Axios? Let's get Axios. Bring Axios in. Oops. Okay, right, then we need to go into reducer. If you type in reducer, you should get a reducer, and then let's call this get post reducer. Oh, we shouldn't name it the same as the action, because otherwise it sometimes creates conflict. So I think we did call it get posts. Yeah, we did. So let's call it post get reducer. Post get reducer. Reducers, no reducer. And then these will be the same as what they were in. So get post request. Bring that in. Get posts request. Is that what it's called? Yep. Then this one will be get posts success. And then this one's going to be get posts fail. And then the payload is going to be here, post data. Let's call it post data. So let's just call it posts action.payload. And the posts is going to be an empty object to begin with. Okay, then in here, got that. So, I mean, everything should still work, apart from the fact that's going to be blank. And then we need to bring in this dispatch, get posts. Need to bring in both of these. Yep. And then bring in this. So use dispatch actually. Use dispatch. Dispatch. Okay, and then this we need to bring in. Have we got it here? Use dispatch. Yep, we've got that already there. Another thing we need to do is, oh, why has this changed? That wasn't that before, was it? Get post here. Right, did we bring that in? Hold on, let me just make sure we did bring that in. Yep, it's that one. And then we need to get, once we get the post back, we need to set it to this posts. So let's get that post back. Oh, first of all, we need to put the reducer in the reducers. So in here we need to say was it post get reducer equals post get reducer. That should just be post get. Let's bring it in. Okay, and then in here we need to say use selector. So use selector, and then it's called post get. Then this is posts, and then inside this we need to set the posts. We want to call it in here because otherwise what's going to happen is it's going to keep on executing otherwise. So this will only execute when the page loads basically. And then everything should be the same. It shouldn't. Use selector is not defined, that's fine. It shouldn't affect it, innit? Let's have a look. Get post request is not defined, yes. That is very true. Okay, it's not defining it. So, and it's not defining it here either, let's see. Nope, it's not. Doesn't like it. Import. Get post request. Get post success. And then get posts fail from dash types. Post types there. Right, I think we need the same thing in the other place here. Right. State is not defined. Where is that? Okay. I think this should be state, not posts. Right, that should be fine. Dispatch is not defined somewhere. Okay. Thought I did that, but anyway. Use state. Use dispatch, sorry. Oh, let's go in. I think might be the wrong in here. Get post fail. Oh, this should be export const. I've done this before. Export const. No wonder why I couldn't bring it in. Right, okay, perfect. Right, that should work. Okay, something's happened. Let's have a look what's going on. Get paste fail for some reason. Why did it fail? False data is not defined. Data is not defined, okay. Post actions. Okay, let's just get rid of this and this, and then it should be defined. And let's get rid of that as well, because that's not defined either. That should be fine. Okay, what's the error now? Okay, we have these. We have these. So, for some reason, they are not coming into the dashboard. I have no idea why. It's really strange. Right, okay. Let's go in here and just check why that might be. Let's go in here and then console log. Let's console log the posts first. Oh, they are there. Okay, perfect. Don't know what happened there, but yeah, I think it just took a while to come through. Now we need to move the create post into the Redux store as well. So in a similar way, that we just did, we need to create a create post reducer. So let's go in here and then let's go action creator, and let's call this create posts. And basically what we're doing is we're just moving these functions outside of and then these actions are then these functions are then going to create state in the Redux store, basically. So that's basically what Redux is. It's a way of moving some of the functionality outside and into the Redux state. So in here we need to do all of these things. Oh, before we do that, let's set it up in the way that we did over there. So let's oops, we should undo that once, and then in here we need to say create. So all of these, if you hold the Alt button, you can select all of these at once, and then let's call this create. And then let's bring these in, create post request, that one, and then let's go in here, and then it's create post success, then let's go in here, and then let's create posts fail. Okay, and then we need to just bring in all of that. Let's Control S that, close, oops, close. Oh, we need to actually keep that open. We need to do something here, keep open, right. Then in here we need all of this stuff, so let's get all of this X. I think we've missed that out. Go into the post action, and in here we just want to paste that stuff, and then in a similar way to what we did previously, let's remove that, and let's remove that, and then we need to bring in this memory data, so let's type that in here, memory. And we need to then take this create posts and bring it in here, create posts, and then here we need to pass in that memory data, and then let's call this dispatch. If you're struggling to understand this, then I would advise you to go and have a look at how Adrian does it, because he uses a little bit less boilerplate, which makes a bit more sense if you're a beginner with Redux. And Redux is quite difficult to understand for some people, especially if you're a beginner, because there's just lots of boilerplate. But ultimately the reason to do it is to move the state outside of each component and kind of into a state that can be used across your components. But you don't always have to do it, but as you get bigger apps it becomes more necessary, really. Let's use dispatches that's brought in anyway. Let's try and bring it in. Okay, then we need to use selector. Do we need to use selector? 100% sure. Not really, actually. We don't need it. We don't need anything to come back. But anyway, let's go in here and then do the same thing. Create a reducer. And then we're going to call it create post create reducer. And then here we're going to call it create post request. And then this one is, I would call this actually create post rather than posts, because we're only creating one at a time, whereas we're getting more than one post. But I'm not going to change it now because I've already kind of bought it into 3 components, but it doesn't really matter. But it's just a bit more accurate in the way that you're naming stuff. You should name stuff accurately if you can, but it's not going to affect anything really. State going to be an empty object. And then what is this? We're not actually going to bring this back in because we don't need it anyway, I don't think. But let's just do that. Reducer, so let's bring in that reducer. So create, post create, just create, and then it's post create reduce, oh create, that should be create. And then let's bring that in. There it is, and then let's get rid of that. And then that's that. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this to the posts that we're going to get from the Redux state. And then that should be just post, and then let's delete this, we don't need that anymore. And we don't need this anymore. Rishma title new. Oh, okay, what's the title? Let's go for China. The Great Wall of China can be seen from space as it is so long and large. That'll do. China Great Wall. Right, let's do this one. Where is it? Submit. Oops. Refresh. Okay, it's there straight away. Useful. Don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment. All of this helps the channel, and in the words of one of my favourite characters from one of my favourite films, help me, help you. Help me, help you. That's from Tidwell in McGuire. So, see you soon in the next video.